everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video I'm going to be sharing my experiences with being furloughed last year for about 6 months. I know many people who have been furloughed or are still furloughed, and hopefully this video will shed some light on some of the hardships that people face whilst being furloughed. So let's get one thing straight. Being furloughed is not the same as being on holiday. One of the most frustrating things about meeting people whilst I was still furloughed was people saying, "Oh, I wish I was furloughed, I wish I could have some time off, I really wish they'd just make me, not redundant, but just put me on furlough." And I just want to say, no you don't, and you don't really understand unless you've been furloughed what it's truly like. Yeah, okay, the time off sounds great, but in reality it's not all that good. You have to remember that the whole country was in lockdown, so when I got put on furlough, I couldn't go anywhere, so I was just stuck at home, and many people were the same. And it's not just about the sort of time off that you get from being furloughed. You are losing a significant amount of your income. Well, for me anyway, I lost about 40% of my post-tax income. And then there's also the fact that being furloughed means that your job is not secure. So there's always that sort of lingering thought of, in 3 months' time, would there still be a job anyway? So that's kind of why I get a bit annoyed when people say, I wish I was furloughed. It really just isn't about that kind of time off that you get. Fortunately enough for me, that the loss of income wasn't too bad, because it just kind of wiped out what I normally would be putting away in savings. That was basically it. I could still live off the furlough money. I just kind of had to rebudget a bit and just make sure that I didn't overspend on anything. I basically didn't buy anything for myself for those 6 months, and was basically just buying enough to survive, basically. I think the biggest thing that people don't really realise is that, yeah, you're getting money from furlough, but your job is on the line, and there's no guarantee that you would ever return to that job. I think the most painful part is not knowing. You're kind of just waiting and hoping that things will get better and that hopefully you have a job to return to. And I was fortunate enough that my job was actually secure, but I didn't really know that until about 5 months down the line. And there were actually, I think, quite a few redundancies in the company that I was in at the time. And those people weren't fortunate enough to keep their jobs, and they were basically on the furlough scheme. And 4 or 5 months' time, they thought it was all going to be okay, and then all of a sudden, they were made redundant. So that feeling of not knowing is probably the worst part about it. So I hope by saying this, I really hope that people will kind of take a step back, and before they say to someone, "I wish I was on furlough," just to kind of think a bit and just kind of don't say it. I guess the one good thing about being on furlough is time. You do have time to do other things. I did not make the most of the time I had on furlough, mainly because I really didn't think that furlough or this whole lockdown would last that long. I didn't expect it to last more than sort of 2 months. So I kind of thought, within the first month or two, I'm just gonna kind of enjoy myself, and try and not think about work too much, and then things will get back to normal. And I didn't really go out and learn anything new. I kind of just took the opportunity at the time just to game as hard as I could, because where else am I going to ever find this sort of kind of time to game like 10 hours a day or something stupid like that? And I know it's a complete waste of time, but at the time, I just didn't think I wanted to learn anything new, because I probably wasn't going to continue with it once I returned back to work after 2 months. But in hindsight, having been on furlough for 6 months, that really was a huge waste of time, and I really didn't accomplish anything. So my kind of advice is, if you are still on furlough, make the most of the time and try something new or learn something new. Don't let that time go to waste. I was okay being home alone. I kind of accepted that fact, and it wasn't that bad. I'm an introvert, so I don't really like to go out and socialise too much, so being at home was kind of okay for me. But I know that plenty of people being completely isolated at home, not being able to go anywhere in lockdown, that can take its toll on people. People who are depressed easily, or have anxiety, or just some mental health issues, can seriously fall victim of being furloughed or being alone. If you know people, if you have friends or you have colleagues who have been furloughed, do try and get in touch with them. You know, I was fortunate enough that my company would still get in touch with me, and it was really nice that I could go into the office sometimes. We'd arrange to go into the office and we could just have a meet up and chat and just kind of have some sort of normality to it. But honestly, if you know people who have been furloughed, who are alone, just pick up the phone, have a chat, then just send an email, send a message, just anything just to try and get in touch with them, because even a little message can go a long way for some people like that. Now, I want to keep this video quite short, and it was really just to highlight kind of the dark side of being furloughed. I think some people might feel that people who complain about people being furloughed because they're getting free money from the government and they've got time off, what they don't realise is this kind of very dark side for being furloughed and being alone. And I think it's quite easy to miss, and it sucks. I get it. I'm fortunate enough that I've come out of it, and some people still haven't. But I think being able to just reach out to people, colleagues, friends, just a quick message can really go a long way to making them feel a bit better. Anyways, I hope you found this video enlightening. If you did enjoy the video, please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next video. Cheers.